Hi everyone, this is Krisha again, and today's live stream I'm going to be talking all about fear. Fear is one of my favorite subjects, and it's something that I keep coming back to in terms of like what I like to talk about, what I like explore within my own life, and it comes up a lot with my clients in different shapes and forms, and it's just something that I really enjoy talking about. I have a podcast by the same name, Fuck Fear and Get Out of Your Own Way. So you can find that on Cabernet and Kale, where I talk about that. I talk about the terror barrier and all sorts of fun stuff about fear there. And yes, I said fun and fear in the same sentence. I just want to say, if you're watching this live, please like, comment, let me know that you're here, hit like, hit love, whatever, just like engage and let me know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, same thing, like feel free to comment and like leave your comments or questions or whatever while you're watching. Live streams are about engagement. It's not necessarily just me like talking at you. So the more of these that I do, the more people will be on these live, and I'd love to have more of an interaction so I'm not just like spewing information out all the time. It's also a little boring for the replay. So again, anybody who's on here live, hi, how are you? Please let me know that you're here. Just say hello. So what I wanted to talk about first with fear is kind of like explaining, I feel like I have to slouch when I'm on this thing. The thing about fear and where it comes from, it's something that we are obviously innately born with. Without fear, we would die. Without fear, as a human race, we wouldn't have survived. Like, we just simply wouldn't have made it. Excuse me. And why that is because if you think about it, if you've ever heard any kind of like analogy around fight or flight, back in the day, you know, like a few million years ago, we were in our fight or flight system inside of our body served us really, really well. And it is why today you and I are here, because of that system. So if we didn't have fear, the amygdala, if we didn't have that, our adrenals, then whenever a saber-toothed tiger or a dinosaur or whatever came around and was trying to attack humans, we would just be dead. Like, the tiger would come around, we'd be like, oh, hey, nice tiger. We'd pet the tiger, and then like the tiger would eat our face off, right? So, not cool. So we have these innate systems within our body. Sorry, I just ate before going on here. I don't know, make sure I don't have any spaghetti in my teeth. Anyway, without that, we'd be dead, right? So it makes complete sense. And with that spidey sense, that sixth sense that we all have, with that adrenaline and cortisol and all of those things that happen inside of our body in order for us to be able to deal and manage with whatever the fear is what has kept us in the human race and allowed us to live to where we are today. The thing is that as humans, we've evolved a lot since the caveman days, right? Like, we are no longer rubbing two sticks together and pounding chests and, you know, whatever. We are highly intelligent people, like really intelligent people. And yet our biology has not evolved as quickly as our brains. So we still have the amygdala, we still have our adrenals, we still have all of these like heightened sense of fear and awareness and that fight or flight that's within our system. And it doesn't serve us anymore. We are not being chased by tigers anymore. Like, besides some real life situations where, you know, you're about to walk down a dark alley, like, yes, please, thank you for that fight or flight system, because thank you for the amygdala. Thank you for that fear barometer within my body, because now I know, oh shit, I should probably not go down that dark alley. But where fear fucks us up now is when we're about to do something that's for our highest and best good, right? So, for example, if you, let's just say, for example, dating, okay? You want to ask a guy out, or you want to ask a girl out, or whatever. Super kind of basic, simple analogy here. You want to ask somebody out, but you're terrified. That is your fear center coming up front and center and ruling your life. It's fucking useless. I mean, all you're doing is asking somebody out. Like, it's really not that big a deal. You're not going to die. You're not going to die if they say no. But we're so caught up in that fear that it takes us out. And then we sabotage it. We don't do it. And then we feel bad because we didn't ask that person out. You know, like there's all the beat downs that happen as a result of not going after what it is that we really want to do. So that's kind of like a mini sort of history, if you will, about where it comes from, but that it just doesn't serve us anymore. And so when you look at fear now, when you're in a situation, when you're about to do something or you want to do something or whatever, but you're terrified to do it, you can do like a bit of a reframe. And I think just having an awareness physiologically what's going on in your body, knowing that this is like a signal that's coming from your amygdala, which is a part of your brain. It's down at the back, and it's sending messages throughout your body. And if you become self-aware enough to know that, oh shit, like I'm having this sensation in my body, my heart is racing, my stomach feels like, you know, it's in knots. I'm feeling like I stopped breathing. Like when you really get out of here and start to like get down here, and you start to feel the physical sensations that are in your body, then you can move through that fear. You can recognize it for what it is, as opposed to like sinking into it and running far away from whatever that fear thing is, right? Unless, again, it's a dark alley and you shouldn't go down the dark alley. Then use that fear, like use it as a way to propel yourself forward. And in fact, actually, when you are about to do something super scary that isn't life-threatening, again, I'm all about like using, like tapping into that energy, but that means that you've got to get out of here and you've got to get down here. And I know for years I operated mostly out of here and not from here down, meaning all up in my head, all up in the thoughts, all up in the brain, all up in the analytics, all the left brain stuff, and never really paying attention to what was going on down here. And so I missed a lot of signals. I missed a lot of opportunities for growth and change. And when I started to really start to tap into what my body was telling me and listening to that more, that helped me lose weight. It helped me get better. It helped me heal my body, but also it's helped serve me in so many ways in terms of my business and growing and friendships and all sorts of stuff. So getting it out of here and sinking down to here. And what I would love you to do is next time you do something that, or you're about to do something that's super scary, for you, is to realize that fear and excitement have the exact same physiological response in our body, right? So think about it. You're on a freaking roller coaster. So like last weekend, I was on like this mini roller coaster with Mason, my son, and it's mini. It was one of those like country fairs, right? So it wasn't like a big ass roller coaster. Like this thing was just, but I hadn't been on a roller coaster in years. And it was literally just kind of like this circle and had like these tiny little hills. It was no big deal. But at one point it kind of like zoom, kind of went around like on a curve. And I was like, oh my God. I was afraid. I was feeling fearful, but actually it was exciting and it was fun. So when you start to sort of like re-examine and get into that physical sensation of what's going on, then you realize, well, hang on a minute. Maybe I'm not scared. Maybe I'm actually just really fucking excited. And this thing I'm about to do is so awesome. In the live stream, in the podcast I talked about the terror barrier. I'm not going to go too deep into that. It's a Bob Proctor concept, and David Nagel talks about this as well. But it's basically when you are trying to make changes in your life and you're trying to like get past certain behaviors and certain things or whatever, there's a barrier that we reach, and it's called the terror barrier. And what happens is a lot of people will like do all the work, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing all this personal development. I'm doing all this training. I'm doing all this learning. And then they hit the barrier, which is that thing that you need to, that one fucking thing that you need to do that you know is going to take you to the next level, but you just don't do it because it is terrifying. Maybe it's spending money on something that you know is going to benefit you. Like maybe it's a coach, or maybe it's something in your business. Maybe it's hiring a staff member. Maybe it's going on a certain, like a trip or something like that. Maybe it's doing public speaking, you know, like there's a lot of things that you know that if you just did that thing, that, you know, your life would shift. But we bounce off against this terror barrier over and over and over again, because it's terrifying. We don't know what's on the other side of that. And what happens, you know, like what happens if you spend all that money and it ends up being a disaster? What happens if you go on stage and everybody laughs at you or you don't know what to say, right? Like those are all the kind of bullshit fears that we have going on in our brain. And then once you get past that barrier, once you get the balls to go past that barrier, then you find, oh my God, that was like the best thing ever. And I wish I had just done that so much sooner. Anyway, so I wanted to sort of like give you an idea of what happens with fear, where it comes from, why it's there, and that to move through it, it's really a matter of like getting into that physical side of things, feeling it in your body, and then having that conversation with yourself to say, okay, like, am I going to die if I do this? No. And supporting yourself in a way, whether it's with coaches or books or whatever, to give you that push, to give you that confidence that you need in order to move past that terror barrier. I love Anna Forrest. She is an idol of mine. If you haven't heard of her, look her up. A-N-A Forrest, like trees. I was at a yoga retreat of hers at the end of March, and I've been sort of following her for a really long time. And I finally read her book. I was really uncomfortable and not ready to read her book when I first met her, or not met her, but was introduced to her. And I finally read it, and I was ready to read it and hear the wisdom that she has within it. And she talks about fear for her as like hunting it and stalking it. So with her, what she did is, with her journey into self-improvement, her tool was yoga and alcohol and drugs and all the rest of it, right? But her main tool was yoga. And she said that when she'd be in a pose, like say warrior or something like that, and she was feeling a fear about something, or some sensation would come up in her body or whatever that would remind her of something that had happened to her in childhood that would bring up that fear within her, she would hunt it, stalk it, and like really try to figure out what's underneath, because chances are whatever that initial fear is, that's not what's going on. It's what's underneath. Like what's the trigger beneath that, right? So going back to the dating example, you're not asking somebody out on a date. Well, maybe you have like a massive fear of rejection, and maybe that comes from being rejected as a kid or something like that, right? Like, so that's the thing that you gotta explore. It's not that you're shitty at asking people out on a date. It's that you have some unresolved stuff there from your childhood, right? Sorry, the stuff, it's deep. And I think going through your comfort zone is when you're tackling things that you want to get through in terms of fear. I think really take a look at and see whether you are doing things that are still completely within your comfort zone, but you're pretending or you're tricking yourself into thinking that you're doing something that's really pushing you outside your limit. And I'll give you an example. I spoke with an amazingly brilliant woman yesterday, super, super smart, very articulate, really great. We were talking about some stuff that she's got going on in her life right now. And we were talking about like pushing through and doing things that are outside of her comfort zone and stuff. And she mentioned that she was going to do some dance classes, a very specific type of dance class, and a very feminine type of dance class. And I thought, ooh, fantastic. I love this. This is getting her outside of her comfort zone, getting her more in touch with femininity. That's what I was thinking until she said, I love dancing. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's not really getting outside your comfort zone, because even though tapping into the more feminine side of dancing would be getting outside of her comfort zone, it was still dancing. And so she was still comfortable with that. Well, I applaud her, and I still think she should go and do it. It's not what's going to be the breakthrough for her that she needs in order to really start to catapult into changing the old patterns and behaviors that she really is ready to let go of, right? But if this is as far as she can get right now, then that's awesome. It'll probably lead her to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But I just want to encourage you to look at that and think, okay, well, where am I stepping outside of my comfort zone? And is it really outside of my comfort zone, or is it just like kind of a different version of the same thing? So I wanted to share my personal story about where I'm at. And if anybody's on here live, please let me know. So if you have questions or anything like that, like, you know, feel free. I do this from my page, and there's not a very low engagement on a page. But if you're there, I would love to hear from you and say hi, and then I can, if you've got any questions or whatever, I can answer, I can engage with you. So this is a conversation rather than me talking at you. But yeah, so I'll tell you guys what's going on with me personally right now in terms of fear and what I'm doing. I'm a big believer in like living and breathing my brand, and I don't do anything I don't ask my people to do anything that I haven't done. So everything that I talk about, I've done. I've gone through the terror barrier a bazillion times. It took me almost like 2 years before being able to get through the terror barrier the first time. But now that I've done it a few times, I'm just like, okay, I know what to expect. And I know on the other side of the terror barrier, it's always so fucking awesome. Like, it is so much better than I thought it was going to be. And I've had some really awesome experiences on the other side of the terror barrier. So everything that I talk about is something that I myself have gone through, have done myself, and I practice what I preach, basically. So right now, what's going on with me is I am really trying to raise visibility. I'm really trying to increase my community, to reach more people. I've been in business for a few years. I built a six-figure business last year, and now I'm looking to, you know, build a big community and touch more women's lives. And the only way that's going to happen is if I get out of my own head and get through this terror barrier of mine, this one here, that has had me stuck for a long time. And this terror barrier is talking to people, believe it or not. Doing these live streams is extremely hard for me. It is way outside my comfort zone. It is very triggering for me because I'm very much, and I've spoken about this now, but it's when I, you know, it's putting myself out there and risking being rejected. Like going back to that dating analogy. And that's terrifying. And every day, like I've committed now, my plan is for 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday every week, I'm going to do one live. So this is my third live this week. So yay me. Like, fuck yeah, I did it. And people watched and people commented. So like, yay, that's awesome. See, I went through the terror barrier, and on the other side of it has been a little bit of engagement, which is really great. That's the point. I want to inspire people. I want people to like get something out of this stuff and shake up their own lives and you know, really grow as humans. Anyway, so being seen and getting out there is something that is terrifying to me, especially in person. So it's very easy for me to hide behind a telephone and a telephone. Oh my God, I'm so old. Behind a live stream, it's easy for me to hide behind a computer screen and just type and blog. You know, like it's safe. I'm good at it. It's safe, right? Even doing the live stream is safe. What my next level is that is totally unsafe for me and way outside my comfort zone is in-person stuff and networking. That makes me want to throw up in my mouth over and over and over again. So in the last 2 weeks, I've been to probably 3 or 4 networking events. I've put my big girl panties on. I'm making live person connections now, so not just online. I'm doing online connections as well, but again, that's safe. I'm doing live in-person connections. And the first one I went to, it was terrifying. Like, it was literally terrifying for me. Like, walking into a room full of women, especially like super powerful women, and not knowing what to say. Like, that is where I sit, where I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to network. Yeah, it's a big thing. And I do know what to say. And if I just gave myself that fucking chance, it'd be fine. And it always is. But I have that fear. And so my choice is I can either not go and not do these things, or I can continue to push myself and put myself out there until I get to that point past that terror barrier, and when I get the big awesome results of what this is going to do for my business and what it's going to do for my confidence and what it's going to do for the people who I serve, right? Through that, I'm going to probably meet some really amazing people who will then, I'm sure, be able to help my community more, right? So that's the way I look at it too. So that first event I went to, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I am terrified here, but kind of like skulked around. And then when it came time to like find a group of women to talk to, I just didn't know what to even say. And then that whole car ride home, I did nothing but beat the shit out of myself the entire way home. And I thought, oh, this is pointless. Why should I bother? Blah, 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 blah. So nobody's immune to these things. Just putting that out there. And that could have been it. And at one point, that would have been it for me. Like, I would have been like, see, I can't fucking do this. Who am I to think that I can do this? Never mind. I should just stick with what I know and just do this. It's fine. Blah, blah, blah. That's fear. That is fear. That's my amygdala fucking coming up and saying, there's a saber-toothed tiger in that room. It's very uncomfortable. It's very unfamiliar. Don't go in that room. Those women are all saber-toothed tigers, right? Not true. Those women are beautiful, amazing, smart, talented women who just want to connect and just want to help other women. Like, that's what it is, for real. So I decided, fuck you, fear. I am getting out of my own way, and I'm going to continue doing these events. So I did. And then last night I went to another event, and the same kind of thing happened. Like, I wasn't as beat down on myself, but when I was in the room, first of all, I wore flats, and I'm like 5 foot. And so my worst nightmare was coming true. Like, people didn't notice that I was even there. Like, they would walk like literally like this, and because they were looking above me, they didn't see me. And I was wallpaper. I was fucking wallpaper. And then I realized, oh my God, I made myself wallpaper. I made myself wallpaper. I was watching Shailene Johnson a couple weeks ago. I was at her event. She is the same fucking size as me. She's 5 foot. She's tiny. But man, does she command a room. She is fierce. And she commanded a room. I think there was like, I want to say there was 2,000 people at her event. She commanded that room, that space. So it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm 5 foot, that I was wallpaper. It had to do with the fact that I view myself as wallpaper, and that I allowed my energy to become so muted that I was faded into the background. Because for me, that's safe. And then I can share the victim's story of, oh, nobody talked to me. Look at me. I shouldn't do this. You see, nobody notices that I'm even there. That is such old childhood programming, like really old bullshit stuff that I don't need anymore. I really don't need any of that anymore. And so last night on the way home, I did not beat myself up. And I high-fived myself for not beating myself up because I realized, what the fuck? Like, I made myself be wallpaper. So what I'm going to do to get out of my comfort zone, I hope this is helpful for you if you're watching. What I'm going to do to get out of this comfort zone is something that my intuition has been telling me to do, and I keep getting reminders and evidence and people talking about this all around me, is to do improv. And improv scares the shit out of me. Like, really, really, really scares the shit out of me. I don't want to do it. I don't fucking want to do it. No way. But I'm going to do it. Because I feel that improv is going to be the thing that crosses me through that terror barrier. And I know on the other side of that, there's going to be just, I don't know, a blossoming. And it's going to set me up for whatever the next phase is of whatever it is that I'm here on the planet to do. So keep me accountable for that. That's my story, and that's where I'm at right now, and what I'm doing to, you know, say fuck you, fear, get the hell out of my way, and I'm gonna do this thing because it's not about me. This is about you watching right now. This is about what you need to hear and how you need to grow. And if I stay skulking in the corner, if I stay wallpaper, it's not helping you in the slightest. And then my mission here on earth it's wasted. And I don't want to waste my mission. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to, that's disrespecting what I've been given as a gift to help other people with. So that's all I wanted to share with you today on today's live stream. Love stream. Again, if you're watching on the replay, please comment. Let me know, you know, what your biggest aha, what your biggest takeaway was. I would love to connect with you. I've been offering up some connection calls with my community. So there's still, I think, just a couple available. And next week, on Tuesday the 13th, I'm going to talk about how to visualize your way to success. On the 14th, I'm going to talk about how to mompreneur like a boss. And on the 15th, I'm going to talk about how to meditate to elevate. Meditation has been one of the best things for me and my business, and how I have been able to get to the point where I'm at right now with all of this stuff. So I hope that you join me next week for all of those exciting live streams. And if you are on the replay, please feel free, like I said, to comment and get in touch with me if you, would like to set up a conversation. So thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. And it's going to be nice and hot and sunny here in Toronto, which I'm super happy about. And I will see you guys all on the next live. Bye for now.